Alright, so I thought I'd make a little video here about the Homeship and the progress. Just got done with another, 55-hour week of work, so I haven't had much time to do much content, so I haven't worked on the Homeship much. Did a couple things here and there, so I thought I'd kind of go through and, see if people are interested. So I'll just kind of do a quick exterior look. So, again, for those who might not know, the Homeship's whole purpose is it's going to be a do-it-all ship that you can go out, you can leave this ship out on the ocean. You can use these parasite craft here to go do a bunch of the missions. So, like, say for example, one big thing I want to be able to do is I want to load this up with, say, all of the containers for the Arctic. So, the Arctic base, for those who might not know, where is it? It's up here somewhere. See if I can find it in a reasonable amount of time. It has rail going to it. All the there it is, BVG Logistics Depot. So this is it. So a BVG container goes up to the Arctic. So as you can see, I think it's about 45 nautical miles, somewhere like that, to get up there. So the BVG containers are pretty profitable. So if we look. Let me just try to find a couple. So there might be 2 or 3 here. The Homeship can carry up to 5 containers. So here's a BVG for 23. So that's 23. There's a BVG for 30,000. So that's a good one. So we're up to 53,000 total. 53. That's 12. That's pretty low. So that's 62, 65 rather. 65,000. But so as you can see, we can start to get some of these, and especially if we were to kind of be a little bit more discriminating. There's another 24. So what are we at? We're at 65, I think. 65. That's 89,000. So that's 89,000 sitting on deck here. If we went, so what I'd probably do is grab the most profitable ones here. I'd leave like that 12,000. And then I'd fill the extra spots with Komodos. I would come over here. I'd go to Komodo. I'd pick up the BVGs at Komodo. So, usually the most you're going to get for one of those BVGs is like between like 30 and 33,000. And I can fit 5 of those. So let's say 150,000 for containers. So what we would do is we'd load up. So say we start here, we grab some containers, we go to Komodo, we deliver, say, 2 containers. That's pretty negligible. That might be a few $1,000s there. And then we would plot a course with the autopilot. We would come all the way up. I probably wouldn't want to cross the tracks this many times, so I'd probably come through here, and then I'd plot the autopilot up so I don't have to go through the tracks underneath these tracks. It's kind of annoying that we have this track. Makes shipping tough, but then kind of worm my way through. And then, I'd probably take control again here, and then we come in and we would dock with BVG, and we would unload our containers. So that's a potential of 150,000 in cash. Well, one of the things we can do with the Homeship is as we're going up there, the way that the system works in game is you get missions based on the proximity to where your player is. So as we go up, we're going to get missions that might be, say, if we're here, we might get a mission over here, we might get one over here. And so what you would do with the Homeship is you could take this rescue boat here, and you could go do a rescue. Or you could take, the Hummingbird's not sitting on here, but the Hummingbird sits up on top of the helipad, and you could take the Hummingbird and go do a mission. Or the Lifeboat and go do a mission. This is man overboard boats. It's small, but you could do missions with that. And so you would be able to go and do some of the missions while you're taking containers somewhere. So that lets you do multiple things. There'll also be a winch at some point on the back in case you want to do any towing missions. But this Homeship has stay active blocks and all these. I'll have to launch these separately the first time, but these will all have stay active blocks so that you can keep the Homeship on autopilot and heading towards the Arctic while you're doing missions. So, to kind of RP it, as we're going up here, if we get a mission over here, I can leave the Homeship on autopilot. I can depart with either the boat or the VTOL, go do a mission. Most likely you're going to have to rescue some people, so you take them and you come back here and you dump them off at the hospital. and then you'd catch back up with the ship, which might be up here. So that, for a lot of people, and even me, it'd be boring kind of sitting there for two. It's going to take probably, I think the Homeship will do maybe, let's say probably 20 knots guaranteed, no overheat. So it's, we'll say 20 knots, just to keep the math easy. So it's about 45 nautical miles. So we're talking a little over 2 hours. So you wouldn't want to sit there for 2 hours just kind of watching it. But, as the ship's going up, you're going to get rescue missions. So you can jump off. You can go do a rescue mission. You can go deliver the people and then catch back up with the boat. And then say you want to do a save and play later, you could go back and then get the boat moving, to get the ship moving again. Go do a rescue mission, come back to the boat, drop the people off up here at the hospital, and then so you're constantly moving with the parasite craft, and the Homeship is on autopilot heading up towards BVG. And then when you get up to BVG, you can dump your containers and pick up new containers. So that's kind of the whole purpose of the Homeship, is to be able to do any mission. So let's do a quick little tour here. So we'll start in the stern. We have our rescue boat. This is a 10-passenger. This is the main rescue skiff. So there's 5 seats on either side. So let's just go. We'll launch it really quick here. So this system here, that was the wrong one. I think I misconnected something. No, I didn't. It was just the, I left too much slack in the line. I'm trying to remember. I haven't set this up in a little while. But as you can see, this will go down on davits. And so the davit goes out, and then you can lower it. Need to have it come out just a hair, probably more, but as you can see, it works. So this will drop off the side. So this would be your main rescue boat for going out and doing rescues. All right, and then so you can raise this back up. So I showed in another video. I don't know if I posted it or not. Taking this boat out and then just bringing it back and reconnecting it. So you'd detach the 2 ropes. You'd store them in these empty rope lockers. And then you would, put the boat away. So pretty simple on this. This is going to be your main rescue boat. It's a little bit on the larger side. It can handle waves well. It has an anti-fly system and stability system. It does about 30 knots. The Homeship does a maximum of about 23.5, 24 knots. So you can catch up to it because this is a little bit faster. And then that allows you to... go do some rescue missions. Lifeboat is also good for rescue missions. Quickly, I did a video on this. If you want some more details on the lifeboat, you can check my videos out on that. Let me just try to jump up. But as you can see, go in the hatch here. We have seating for 8, and then we have a driver's seat there. And that allows us to go do... this would be good for rescue missions, a little bit more waves. You do have some issues. You need to worry about water getting in there, but I need to put a pump-out system on there. But these are nice and simple. These are single-button press davits, so all you have to do is press one button, and these will auto-launch. As you can see, they'll automatically go over the side. Cables will only go down until they touch the water, and then it will stop there. And so this one stopped, as you can see, and you detach the rope and you could go. When you come back in, you just pull in, you jump off, attach the rope, and then with one button press, that will raise. As we can see, the man overboard boat is out, so we can press one button on that. That will raise. So these make it nice and simple to be able to operate these parasite craft. Again, the Hummingbird is the Resident VTOL there. That's just not on board at the moment. So you can see these auto snap and recharge. This is electric. This one's diesel. In here we have this is the winch module for the arm on the crane. These 2 hatches here will actually open. These hatches are access ports. So this is actually a garage. We'll go down there and we'll look at the garage. You could store something like a mud skipper in there. This here is the container module for actually loading containers. You can store this down there. So that's going to be storage. This here is mostly RP. It's access to the engine room. So if you need RP, take some engine parts out. Like if you need a new cylinder on one of your diesels, you could take it out through that hatch. So we'll go down there a little bit later. And then so like this here, if you grab this, you can kind of grab this and walk it out. As you can see, and I can just drag this along, and then you know, it won't probably let me attach because it's too high, but you know, you can attach this right here to the connector, and that works through the composite, and you can actually control the winch on that, and then we can reattach that there. So this is just kind of a locker room to hang these things up. Let's go through here. This is the living quarters on this deck. So this is your living deck. So we have 6 staterooms, double beds. We have desks. You know, I need to flesh these rooms out, put some more detailing in, but they have auto lights on there. We have 6 of them. So there's 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. And here we have the galley and the kitchen. This is right off the Damon 2111. As you can see there, I still need to flesh out and put a room in here. Still haven't decided what I want to put in here yet, but we'll put a room in here to kind of finish this deck off. That's the last thing to do on this deck. I also need to label these doors, whether they go up or down. So this is down. This goes downstairs. So so we were, just for reference, this was that front room that I need to build. So that front room will be here. I'm also going to simulate anchor chain lockers in here. So you know, in real life, you have to be careful about enclosed spaces, because essentially if you have an enclosed space, a room with anchor chains, the chains are going to rust. And so what that's going to do is that they're going to use up the oxygen in that room, and they're going to produce other gases. So if you enter an enclosed room with the anchor chains, people actually die doing this because it uses up all the oxygen in the room. So a person goes in there and they just pass out. Well, then they end up dying because there's no oxygen in there. And so they had a really bad case where somebody went into the anchor locker, they passed out. The person who was with them went in there to rescue them, they passed out. They sent in a couple more guys to go rescue them, they passed out and died. And so they finally got a crew in there with oxygen masks, and I think 7 people died in total trying to get them out of there. So enclosed spaces in a ship are incredibly dangerous for that reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the kind of like some lock doors, and what you'll do is you'll have to do a venting procedure where you press a button, and so I might try to do some sort of sound block or something that makes sound noise, maybe an impeller. And so it'd simulate venting the room. You'd want to vent the gases out of the room and bring fresh oxygen into the room before you'd be able to enter. And then you'd be able to open the hatch. So that might be something I'd do. So this room here, I'm not gonna put opposing blocks on here, but I'm gonna end up probably putting a couple square rooms here. This might be my ballasting area where I have all my pumps for my ballast tanks. Got some more engineering areas in here. Going in here, this is that garage I was talking about. So this is that big door underneath the crane. So let's fly up. As you can see, that's that big door. So this door actually comes off. You can use that winch to connect and move this door. And we can drop things in from the ceiling, including the mud skipper, so we can lower it down. And so you'll be able to store some things in here in this center compartment. Coming into the rear here, I've been doing some work on this engine room this week. So I added this control room here. So what you're going to want to do is you'd come in here, and there's going to be all circuit breakers. I make all my circuit breakers actually work the system, so they'll be all connected to individual systems. I'll probably put a control panel in here as well. On this side here, we have the batteries. So we're going to have these 4 medium batteries. We'll control the ship. And then coming up in here, you're going to have your main engineering panel here where you would have all your engineering gauges. And so you kind of stand in here and overlook your engine room. So it's kind of, I think, a cool feature. You know, it's kind of a dead space in the middle here. I'm not sure how much I like it. I kind of like having that, you know, overlooking area here. I still need to put in a harbor generator. So this area is kind of bumped up because of the stern, which I kind of wanted to look like the stern goes up. You know, I'm kind of disappointed in these areas. I can't really make that go all the way up, but, you know, I don't think it's a big deal. I think it looks all right. I'm going to put a couple harbor generators in here, so there'll be some extra diesel generators. I started putting a kind of a simulated rudder control. It was going to, you know, have two pivots and a tie rod going between them, and then have a couple pistons, and it was going to simulate the rudder control, because that's how you really control a rudder in a ship. But adding all those pivots was causing the boat to kind of dance in the back, the ship to dance in the back. So I didn't really like that. So we have twin. This is my brand that I put on everything is Pat, instead of Cat. So these are my twin Pat 8-cylinder 3x3 diesels. This is all the cooling for those engines. This controls all the engineering section of the ship. So that's the engine room. Let's go up and we'll finish off the rest of the ship. So still a bunch of work to do on this, but it's coming along well. So I was gonna, I kind of decided this staircase just for the compact nature of doing one staircase over the other instead of doing like a double stair. Just saves a lot of space. It's kind of annoying to have to run around, but it saves a ton of space. I may or may not keep all these doors on here. I don't know, but so this here is kind of the rec room. You have TV and sectional. You have a pool table. I don't know who built this. I'll credit it though when it gets released. Checkers. I'll probably kind of dress this up. Probably put a little kitchenette in there. On this deck, as you can see, we can overlook the stern. We can walk along here. I have these. I'm going to put a better toggle system. This is just real simple for now, but these are going to be your anchor points. Your bow. So I'm going to put a couple. I haven't decided if I'm actually going to put anchors on here or simulate anchors, but you're going to have a couple winches up here going down to anchors. You can come inside the front here, back into the rec room. Up, and that goes down. So I need to put a sign here, an indicator light that will show. We'll just have an arrow up or down for if the staircase goes up or down. So here we have the bridge. So I pretty much only have the main command station, but as you can see, you can overlook the stern, starboard, port, and bow. You can come outside here and walk around this deck. We have some lifeboats here, some inflatable lifeboats on either side. And the real one, I think, that has a stack of 4 of these. It just, it'd be very cumbersome because they're much smaller than these are. So, that would take up, I would think, a bunch of space. So that's the only reason I have 2 of them. Just kind of for detail. All right, so let's go ahead. This is not my sonar, but I'll make sure I credit that when it goes up. So here's my main control station. I'll credit whose systems these are, but these are nice. They have cameras. It's actually inside the ship at the moment, but we have a bunch of different cameras here. This one is up on the mast, as you can see. So that's this black camera up here on the mast, and as you can see, we can move this camera around. There, I'm going to hook up the water cannons like on my Daemon 2111 that you'll be able to control the water cannons, and they have cameras on themselves as well. I just haven't hooked that up yet, but and then we have radar, we have maps on this. This is radar LiDAR, so if it's powered, as you can see, the LiDAR rotates, and then that upper radar is working. The lower radar is going to be off of this screen. I thought I had that connected, but maybe I do not. I might have to hook that up. Let's get it started up real quick. I'm not really all that strong at Lua, but I'd like to make at least a 2x1 engine panel here to control the engines, and so I'd like to try to get into Lua a little bit. I'd like to maybe kind of control my throttle systems with a Lua panel. I like some physical buttons. I'm still kind of old school like that, but it would be nice to do that as well. So, so our 2 engines are started. We have port, temp, RPM, and clutch. We have starboard RPM, temp, and clutch. We have independent control of our thrust, port, and starboard, or we can sync them so they both work off the port. We have bow and stern thrusters, so I'm going to push my bow out. I'll push my stern out. And as you can see, we have bow and stern thrusters, and you can see we're just starting to translate to starboard there. So we can also center those, so they're zeroed, and then we can, since we're synced, we can start to increase our thrust. All right, so we're moving along here. So currently, right now, as you can see, we're sitting a little high in the water. That black line should be in the water. I just put a, kind of a guesstimation amount of ballast water in there. So this holds, I think, like 158,000 liters of water. I think I only have 68,000 liters in there, and it holds like 150,000 liters of fuel. So, you know, the point is we want to be able to keep that black line in the water whether we are full of fuel or whether we're empty on fuel. So that will be automatically controlled with water ballast, so I just yet to get into that. But as you can see, top speed here, we're around 23 knots, which is very good for a boat this size. You know, the real boat this was kind of loosely based off does 18 knots, so this is quite a bit faster. If we head down into some of these warmer waters here to the south, our engines will automatically reduce down to about 20, maybe 1 or 2 knots, and that will keep us from overheating. So they have automatic overheat protection. But we get a good 30 or 40 minutes before that even kicks in. So, you know, we can travel quite a ways at full throttle. So we have two nice large rudders here. So as you can see, I'm going to go hard over to starboard. And so as you can see, we have a nice turn radius, and as you see with the stability system, it keeps us nice and level. Digital compass there, that is not mine, but that will be credited. I like this sonar here. You know, it gives us a nice visual representation of the depth. I don't know why the radar is not working. I had the radar connected up, but I might not have done a save or something, so that should be done. This here is just connected to the generators, so I can pretty much connect, you know, that's a little bit, was 55% generation. I slowed down, let me straighten my rudders out. I want to see how much of this, I think at 55% clutch there, which it'll be auto clutch for generators, I just have yet to set it up, but, you know, so right now that's 55% clutch, and as you can see, I lost probably at about a knot of speed. Let's see how much power we're actually generating. So you can generate a ton of power with these main generators here. That's 377 a side, so we're talking 740 S-watts while we're underway. So that should be more than enough power to maintain systems. So these will be set up to be PID controlled, so what they'll do is they'll just automatically maintain battery charge. So I like to make these so that, you know, you can kind of imagine how you would operate a real ship here. So batteries need to be able to be unhooked and taken out so you could replace them. So they're kind of in racks here, so you could do that. You know, I'll probably do some more detailing like floor panels and stuff like that. I'm going to put my DEF system in there. So DEF is it's a urea-based chemical that goes into the exhaust of diesel engines to try to reduce emissions. So that will go in there. There'll probably be DEF system here and there. So I have that to do as well. But ship's coming along. Ship's very it's very functional at the moment. Let's quickly go back upstairs. And I'll just quickly show you the autopilot system. So I plugged the autopilot system in because I wanted to do kind of a let's play here at some point. I really wanted to, you know, the ship's far enough along where we can kind of start doing some of the missions we want to do. You know, so we should be able to take this out, transport some containers, and we should be able to transport some containers and do some rescue missions. So I set this up how I set up a lot of my autopilot systems. So essentially, right now there's no autopilot on, so I can use my manual control here. As you can see with my rudder indicator, I can manually move it with A and D. All right, so we're headed about what, 29, almost 295. So let's say we want to head 270. So the next system is going to be the heading hold. So the heading hold is pretty simple. It's this keypad here. If you enter in a 0, it shuts off the heading hold. You have no heading hold. If you enter in a number, it will hold that number. This takes priority over everything. So say, for example, my autopilot was on. If I put a heading hold in there, it will take over precedence, and the autopilot will be ignored, and the heading hold will be used. And so this is good for, say you're going to hit an island because you plotted the autopilot to hit you an island. Well, you can quickly type in a heading. It will hold that. So, so right now, let's put in 270. to hold 270, and as you can see, it's auto turning the rudders. It's PID controlled, so as you can see, it's starting to reduce our rudders fractionally, so that we so you know that we're arriving to that 270 nice and slowly and precisely. And especially for something like a towing mission, this is nice. All right, so there we are. We have our heading hold going. So next thing is going to be this autopilot system here. So I don't like using the keypad on this. So what I like to do is actually drag my points. So we are right here. All right, that's our trend line where we're headed. So let's just do a quick little autopilot course. So if we press the plus, as you can see, we added one point. It's 1.9 kilometers away. If I move it over here, as you can see, there's our point I just made. I'm going to add another one. As you can see, I have another point. Let's move another one. Let's actually just do two for now. So these two, because you'll see it will automatically zero our thrust when we get there. So let's click R, returns us to where we are. Now let's zoom out. So as you can see, it's not doing our course because we have a heading hold in there. So like I was saying, the heading hold takes precedence over everything. So let's go in here and let's put a 0 in. 0 will shut off the heading hold. And I have to turn the autopilot on. So let me actually put 270 back in there. So if I have 270 in there and I turn on the autopilot, as you can see, the A came on. As you can see, we're not turning. If I put a 0 in there, now we're turning. So that heading hold is going to take precedence over everything. And like I was saying, say you're on autopilot and you're going to hit this island right here. You could quickly put a heading in here, and that would take control over the autopilot. You wouldn't have to shut off the autopilot, then go to heading hold, or try to put a bunch of rudder in. You can do that, and it will take control. Let me see. So we're a kilometer away. So it's going to take us a little bit to get there. But anyways, so once this reaches, so essentially once this Q value reaches 0. And the autopilot's on, it will automatically zero our thrust. So we have a button here that says 0 thrust. What that does is it makes both of these idle. And so that makes it so that we don't go forwards anymore. It will essentially send a 0 signal to our engines, and that will keep us from moving. So, if we had an emergency, if we're going to hit that island, we could click 0, and we don't have to actually try to bring our thrust down. That will automatically zero our thrust and stop us as quickly as possible. For example, in an emergency, if we're going to hit that island. But also, when we hit this, conclude this last waypoint, it will automatically zero. And so, like I was talking about, kind of the mission of this ship is, we would set the autopilot to go all the way up here to the Arctic, and we would leave the ship with the parasite craft and go do missions. Well, we want that to maintain its course. And then say we're off on a mission, right? And our last waypoint is right here because we manually want to, pilot the ship underneath the bridge. We could be off on a mission, doing a mission, bringing somebody to the hospital, and as soon as the ship hits that last waypoint, it'll automatically stop. So that's why that system works. So we're coming up on our turn here. We're 250 meters away. Oh, had something tall in the water there. Curious what that is. Still need to work on the lights. Usually what I put on my bridges is I have a essentially an auto dim light. They come in at 50% dim. You click the button again, you'll get red lights, and then you can dim them or make them brighter. So here we are. We're making our turn for our last waypoint. It's 1.5 kilometers away. Probably should have made it a little bit closer just to save us some time, but we can find some things to talk about here while I'm working on that. Alright, so almost heading towards our waypoint here. So I need to get into Lua. I haven't really done much with Lua, so that's something that I'm looking forward to. Is kind of putting myself in that, trying to make some cool Lua screens. So kind of what I'm thinking on the bridge here is I need a ballast and fuel station. So I might put a station here. I don't really have any wings on this ship. There's no wings on the real ship, they would come all the way out here to make docking easier. So maybe I'll put a station here for docking and put one here for docking. I haven't decided yet, how I want to do that or if I want to do that. We'll see about that. I might just do it with cameras. So as you can see, we're 800 meters away from a waypoint. So as soon as we hit that waypoint, it should zero our thrust, so that, again, we could be out doing something else, not even on the ship, and we could automatically have the ship stop so it doesn't crash into anything. All right. So again, these are all just placeholder gauges here. I just put these here to, you know, kind of flesh it out until I decide what I want to put there. See if I can find anything else in this system that's good. This is a good display system. I'll link to that when I release it. Let's see. So these screens, I haven't decided what I want to do yet. Trying to decide. This one is radar. I don't know why it's not showing now. I might not have saved it after I worked on that radar, so I'll have to look. You know, I may have. I don't think I made a seat control for it or something, but so we're coming up on 150 meters away. Once we get to 50 meters from our waypoint, you'll notice it should zero our thrust. So, and as you can see, it zeroes our thrust. So when we are within 50 meters of our final waypoint, it will automatically shut the boat, or you shut the thrust down. The engines stay running, as you can see. So that's good for, you know, we can leave the ship operating. So this is currently the Homeship. You know, still a bunch of work to be done on it, but I think it's coming along well, and I'm enjoying working on the Parasite craft. And I think this will be a fun craft. And you know, once it's as you can see, it's functional enough now that we can start to do a let's play. Let me check. Oh, I fell in the water. Let me show you one more thing really quick before we go. So, so pretty much up to about here is where a bridge would be. So one thing they have on real ships, and so we have it on this ship, is the ability to fold the mast. And so with the foldable mast, we're able to go under bridges. So there'll be a button inside the bridge to be able to fold that mast. And with the mast folded, you'll be able to go under bridges. So that's important. Currently, it's too, you know, it would be too tall with this mast up. So these light systems here, I still have to connect them up, but these are all accurate representations of all the navigation lights. You know, you can see them from the right side, from the correct side. So I need to plug in the controller on the Damon 2111, so that works. All right. So thank you for watching the video.